I respect atheism's core instinct: demand evidence and reject comfortable answers. That's exactly what I want to do today. Because when I apply that same rigor to atheism, I find three places where it genuinely struggles to account for reality. Here are three features of the world that atheism has a hard time explaining. First, why does anything exist? The most fundamental question in philosophy is, why is there something rather than nothing? The two main answers under atheism are that the universe is eternal, or that it began to exist but needs no cause. On the first, the Borguth-Vilenkin theorem, developed by mainstream cosmologists, not theologians, mathematically demonstrates that any expanding universe must have a finite past. Even multiverse models don't escape it. The universe almost certainly had a beginning. On the second, things that begin to exist have a cause is one of the most reliable principles we have. It's the foundation of all science. To say the entire universe is the one lone exception isn't an explanation, it's the decision to stop asking questions. The most honest atheist answer here is simply, we don't know. And I respect that honesty. But we don't know is not the same thing as nothing here needs explaining. Second, where does objective morality come from? Most people, including most atheists, act as though some things are genuinely wrong, not just unpopular, actually wrong, regardless of what any society thinks. When we say the Holocaust was evil, we don't mean most people disapproved. We mean it was wrong, full stop. That's a claim about objective moral facts. And here's what makes this interesting: many atheists are deeply moral people. There are atheist run food banks, community organizations, people giving their lives to helping others. That's real and it matters. But there's a difference between living morally and being able to ground morality objectively. The question is, under atheism, why is it objectively better to feed people than starve them, especially when starving them might serve your own personal interests? Some atheists appeal to evolution, but evolution would only explain why people hold moral beliefs. Cooperation helped our ancestors survive, but that's the origin of the belief, not its truth. Evolution selects for fitness, not moral facts. A mind shaped purely for survival is not a foundation for objective morality. Social contracts ground morality in mutual agreements, but agreements can be broken, renegotiated, or ignored by the powerful. That's not the bedrock we're reaching for when we condemn slavery. We're not saying slavery was wrong because people voted against it. We're saying it's wrong regardless of societal opinions. Some atheist philosophers take a bolder step and say moral facts are simply real and irreducible, just part of the fabric of the universe. That's a serious position, but it raises its own question. In a universe of blind physical processes, why would abstract moral facts exist at all? And how would accidental evolved primates reliably access them? Atheism struggles to explain objective morality. Third, the world doesn't look like what we'd expect. Let's put on our atheist glasses for a moment. If there's no mind behind reality, just matter, energy, and blind physical laws, what kind of universe should we expect to find? We should not expect one fine tuned for life. Yet the fundamental constants of nature, gravity, the cosmological constant, the mass of the electron, fall within extraordinarily narrow ranges that permit stars, chemistry, and life. Physicist Roger Penrose calculated the initial entropy of the universe was calibrated to a precision of 1 in 10 to the 10 to the 123rd power. That level of precision is not what a mindless universe would be expected to produce. The multiverse is a typical modern response. With enough universes and varying constants, we'd inevitably find ourselves in a life permitting one. That's fair. But a universe generating mechanism with the right meta laws to produce life permitting universes is itself something that needs explaining. Appealing to a multiverse just moves the problem, it doesn't solve it. On atheism, we should not expect consciousness. We have no scientific account of why physical processes give rise to subjective experience, why there's something it feels like to be you rather than just dark, unconscious information processing. This is called the hard problem of consciousness. The atheistic worldview seems hard pressed to come up with an answer of how consciousness could possibly arise out of non conscious material. And then there's reason itself. It's also unexpected on an atheistic worldview. Evolution selects for survival, not truth. A mind built purely to keep its owner alive has no guaranteed access to deep truths about mathematics, physics, or the nature of existence itself. Yet here we are, reliably doing all of those things in a universe that turns out to be mathematically intelligible at its core. That's strange if the universe has no interest in being understood. Atheism leaves some of the deepest features of reality unexplained. Why does anything exist? Where do objective moral facts come from? Why is the universe fine tuned for life and mind? Why does reason work? These aren't gotcha questions. They're questions any serious worldview has to grapple with honestly. Atheism, at its best, is admirably honest about what it doesn't know. But when we put those atheist glasses on, the world we actually observe looks very different from the one a mindless universe would be expected to produce. That gap is worth taking seriously.